We will evaluate inverse functions in this video. So a of x is going to be 2x plus 1 over 5. And the problem is, evaluate the inverse of a of 3. Before you can evaluate the inverse for 3, you have to find the inverse. So here's a review from the previous lesson. To find the inverse, you have to set it up as y equals 2x plus 1 over 5. And to find the inverse, you switch x and y. Now, you have to get y by itself. To get rid of that fraction, you can multiply both sides by 5. Multiply the left by 5. If you multiply the right by 5, it cancels out the 5 on the bottom. Move the plus 1 over to the left, and then divide everything by 2. So there's your inverse. And remember, we have to find inverse of a of 3. So the inverse of a of 3 would be 5 times 3 plus 1, and then divide by 2. 15 plus 1 on the top becomes 16 over 2, which is 8. To find the inverse of b, you would have to do y equals negative 4x minus 3 over 6 and reverse the x and the y. Make it x equals negative 4y minus 3 over 6, and then begin to undo everything around the y. Get rid of the denominator of 6 by multiplying both sides by 6. And that'll cancel the 6 on the right side. Move that minus 3 to the left, make it plus 3. And then divide everything by negative 4. You can't have a negative number in the denominator by itself. We're not going to write things like that. So simply get rid of it and make it a positive 4. But if you get rid of the negative sign on the bottom, you have to change the sign of everything on the top. So negative 6x minus 3. So that's your inverse function. And remember, it's b, inverse of b of 2. Or a negative 2, I should say. So here it is. The inverse of b of negative 2 is negative 6 times negative 2 minus 3 over 4. That's 12 minus 3 on top, which will reduce down to 9 over 4. We're going to express everything as mixed numbers or proper fractions. Only decimals if you have no other choice, like with the square root. That's not a perfect square underneath of it. So 2 1/4 would be the answer for this. To find the inverse of c of x, we're going to write it as y equals 6x minus 3 over 7. And then reverse. I just put a red line in there for no reason whatsoever, so we'll just ignore it. We're going to reverse x and y and make it x equals 6y minus 3 over 7. Let's undo everything around the y by multiplying both sides by 7 to start with. And then we're going to have to move the minus 3 to the left, make it plus 3, and then divide by 6. And we are looking for the inverse of c of 5. So that will be 7 times 5 plus 3 over 6, which is 35 plus 3 over 6, 38 over 6. That is 19 over 3, which simplifies down to 6 1/3.